Hey, y'all. So I have to tell you, constantly needing to be in go mode can cause you to start to feel overwhelmed, tired, and honestly, sometimes starting to question if this is what you really want to be doing with your life. And I have to tell you, but knowing when it's time to take a break or even call it quits can be a really tough decision because internally we are telling ourselves we have so much to do. We need to, get XYZ done. We got all the things. So, in this week's episode, I'm going to be diving into when it's time for a pause and when it's time to actually call it quits. So, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling burnt out, or just exhausted, then today's episode is really for you. If you're joining me, say hello. I want to know that you're here every Wednesday when I come on live. If you stumbled upon this somehow, I'm Erin Bird, and I support dance studio owners and educators to really grow their businesses without the overwhelm, the burnout, or sacrificing your personal life, um, so you can create your own unique vision of success. Now, we like to learn out loud around here. I always want to know what resonates with you. And if you come back in on the replay, we want to know that as well. So just drop a little hashtag replay and we can continue the conversation. But if you're joining me here, say hello. I want to know that you're here. And if there's something that resonates with you or that you're feeling like, ugh, deep inside your soul right now, I want to know that. So drop it in the chat and we can discuss it a little bit more. So, okay, my friends, let's dive into this whole topic. Let me know. I know sometimes the hello, good morning. Sometimes there's a delay in comments, so just know that if I miss yours or whatnot, it might not have come through. So just know that, and I will come back to you and grab it. Kara, I hope that you're not like in the midst of Milton. Let me know. Let me know. I've been worrying about all my Florida peeps. Like, oh, okay. So let's talk about it. When is it time to take a break? When's it time to take a break? Okay, guys, like I have been talking, like thinking about my Florida peeps, thinking how do we help and support them? I know there's not much I feel like that we can do in this moment as you're bracing yourselves for the storm. Um, but please know our community is here for you all. And however we can help, we will be of assistance. That is one thing I know for sure. So please, please, please let me know how it goes. Um, so yeah, I know you're a bit more south, but then I was reading something that it shifted some, and so they were thinking it was going to go more south. But what do I know here from California? So, so let me know, right? Let me know, and however we can support all of our Florida and East Coast, friends. So today the topic is when to know it's time for a break. And I have to tell you that right now, for a lot of, I'm not even just going to say studio owners, because, it is for studio owners, but for people in general, life is feeling really stressful, really overwhelming. Um, in our business, right now, typically in October, we're in October, y'all. We're in the last quarter. But we have been in go mode, right? Since forever, baby. But specifically, typically, we have our big enrollments during August, September. And then, towards the end of September, maybe there's a little bit of a lull. And then most of us will have another big push in October after like soccer's over or whatever. But because of the shift in society, I feel like it's like this extended go period. Let me know, does anybody feel that way? Does it feel like you just are in a constant go mode? Um, I will tell you, for me personally, I feel like, just life has been lifing, right? Life has been lifing for us. And um, And there hasn't been just a moment to really breathe. Um, Even when I've built in intentional downtime, life has happened and shifted, if you will, what my plans were. And so we're feeling in this constant state of go. And that's exhausting. It's exhausting. And so I've been having conversations with studio owners. I've been having conversations um, kind of quietly, this last week, week and a half. And there were quite a few where I had someone say, Erin, I just don't know. I don't know. I just don't know if I want to keep doing this. It feels so hard. And that kind of broke my heart a little bit because they were struggling. And here's what I want you to know. It's sometimes okay to take a pause. Even if it feels like you have all the things happening and you don't have the you can't afford to take a pause, right? But the reality is that we have to feed into ourselves. And if we keep going, then we will end up not just needing a pause, but needing to call it quits. Yes, thank you for sharing that, Chelsea. You have this big thing October 17th, and keep trying to plan for downtime, but there are lots of good reasons to keep putting that off. And what happens is when we keep putting that off, when we keep putting off the pause and the downtime, things just continue to compound. And then it becomes time to just call it quits and we throw in the towel. And so I wanted to talk about today how to know if you're at a place where you need a pause, or sometimes it is time to call it quits, right? Like, that's a real thing too. And so the decision to do so one way or the other is really tough. It's really tough sometimes because when we're feeling overwhelmed, when we're feeling burnt out, when we're feeling like our tank is completely empty, sometimes it's hard to see that if we just take a pause, we can refill our tank. Sometimes it feels like we will never refill our tank if we continue to do what we're doing. And so the pause is so important. The pause is so important. So, how to know when it's time for one or the other? That's what the topic is of today. And it's something that, because of conversations I've been having the last week and a half, things that are happening here in my personal life, it's something that's really top of mind. Honestly, I am not immune to it, y'all. We've got a lot of things happening, and so how do I go about knowing if it's time for a pause or if it's time to call it quits? I would be lying to y'all if I said there was never a time where I tried something and I failed miserably and I had to call it quits on a program, a project, or whatever, because the data a lot of times didn't support me trying again. Or I tried again, I tried enough to have enough data to make an educated decision, right? Y'all, I failed. I have failed, but it's about getting back up again. That was my pause. I had the failure. I paused, dusted myself off and said, okay, what's next, right? This didn't work. What's going to work? What are we going to try? But sometimes you need a pause. You just need a pause. And so if I'm being really transparent with you guys, um, my brother-in-law just passed away unexpectedly. His 44th birthday. And it makes you think about life, right? It really does. And what is it that we're doing? What brings me joy? What am I doing that doesn't fill my cup? What is it that I'm doing that, you know, while I enjoy it, isn't necessarily in alignment with my big vision and my goals? What are my number one priorities, right? And y'all know that family is my number one priority above all else, and I am unapologetic about my boundaries and my rules around our family, and how I made the decision. My husband and I made the decision very long ago, before we had kiddos, what we wanted for our kids and for us as a family unit. And so, if you've been around me for a while, you know that that's number one. My number one consideration before all else is my family. And so, as I was going through all of the things that are on my to-do list, on not only to-do list, but my roles and responsibilities here within our businesses, and things that I love, but I also know that sometimes I need to take a pause in them. And so, as I was going through an exercise that I basically do is I do a huge number one brain dump. Anytime I'm feeling overwhelmed, I'm feeling stressed, I'm feeling like, oh my gosh, is this what am I doing with my life? Y'all ever have those moments? What the heck am I doing with my life? I have, quite often. No, but the reality is, like, sometimes it's a what am I doing with my life? So if you are feeling this way, one of the biggest things that I do is I really start with just a brain dump. I open up my notebook and I just start dumping not only all my thoughts, because that's number one. I just have to like get them out sometimes, but then all of the things that I'm doing, and or things, and then I start saying, okay, which of these things are starting to make me feel overwhelmed? Which are of these things, um, I rank them. I literally rank tasks, things that I'm doing. Um, I go through and say, is this something I need to do? Is this something I can give to somebody else? Is this actually even required of our business to be successful or to hit our objectives and our goals? I start like, and then I get out highlighters, different color highlighters, and I'm like, I can give this to this team member. I could do this, because even though, maybe I kept an activity because I enjoyed it, not because it was the, top tier uh, revenue generating activity, right? There are things that I believe that we keep and we do because it brings us joy. We enjoy it. It gives us fulfillment, right? Like, silly enough, I have a client who loves, because she's like, oh my gosh, like I have to clean the studio. I've got to clean the studio and da da da. And I'm like, do you really need to clean the studio? And she's like, actually, for her, cleaning, like deep cleaning, scrubbing action is how she releases her stress. So while she doesn't need to be the person, like, there are people who could do that for her. For her, it was her therapy. Deep cleaning that studio was her therapy. So guess what? If that's something that you need in your life because it's your therapy or it brings you joy, then I'm all for you doing it. But we need to get really clear on the things that we're doing and how we're showing up in our lives and our businesses. And does it align? Does it align with our goals and our vision, and what things can we maybe take a pause on that would free up and give us some room to breathe. Some room to breathe. Okay. So, today it's one of those things where I have some news to share with you. Um, it's okay. It's good news. It's not, end of the world news, but about some things, because I went through and I did exactly what we're talking about today. I did this brain dump, and I went through and said, what can I hand off? What things am I doing that I don't need to do? Because quite frankly, I need a pause. I need a little bit of a pause. I need a little bit of breathing room in my schedule right now, for my family, for myself. So there's some things that are gonna, take a pause. They're gonna come back later, but they're taking a pause right now. Um, and that's what I need. That's what I need for myself, right? So when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're starting to feel and you start to have that moment, you're questioning your life. And not when it's just that moment of like an angry parent, you're like, oh, what am I doing with my life? But if you have this, like, you wake up in the morning with this sense of weight, then I really encourage you to do a brain dump with feelings, and then start writing down all the things that you're doing that are either causing you overwhelm, they're causing you stress. Pinpoint what it is. Pinpoint the areas that, even though you don't feel like it's stressful, but maybe it's just the ice that's the cherry on top. It's the straw that broke the camel's back, right? It's things that, while they're fun, you don't necessarily need to do them right now in this moment, right? We have to do this because when you have the burden, and it can feel like a burden sometimes, when you have the burden of being the leader of the ship when it comes to your business, and you're the leader of your family and you're doing all of the things, it can feel like a lot. So start with a brain dump. Start cataloging all the things, writing down what it is you're doing. Do you need to do it? Can you hand it off to somebody else? Is it in alignment with your big ultimate goal for the year? And if it's not, then you don't need to do it right now. Then it comes to the question of when it's time to call it quits. When it's time to call it quits. When's enough enough? When's enough enough? If you have gone through, you've done your pause, and I'm not talking about like a 2-day pause. I'm going to take a weekend off and I'm going to come back and everything's going to be better. That is not what I'm talking about, my friends. Right? It's not. If you have been intentional about giving yourself downtime, you've gone through, you've done a pause, and a real pause, not a we went on a long weekend, and so, everything should be better when I come back. I don't know about that, right? If you've given yourself enough time, a real pause, and you are come back, you shift things, you readjust, you look at the new way of you operating, and you're still waking up every single day with weight, a burden, the dread is outweighing the joy, you've gotten support to try to turn things around, and you're still feeling this way, it's time to call it quits. And I know that's probably, not popular opinion for a business coach to tell you. Sometimes it's call it quits. Everything can be fixed. Yes, everything. You know what? Most businesses, most studios, 99.9% of them can be fixed if there's, turned around even when there's deep problems happening. But just because you can doesn't mean you should. I know. Gasp, I say it. This is not, I don't know, you guys can tell me right now because you're watching. And it might not feel like my normal tone in my lives, but this is real. This is me. And so you can tell me if you're feeling like, oh, Erin, man, this is not the Erin I'm used to. I don't know. But sometimes you need to throw in the towel. Sometimes you do. And you got to get real. Life is short. We don't know if the next day is promised. And so we need to live for today, but also for the future. And so if you are waking up in dread, if you're waking up with weight, if you are not, like you are dreading walking into your studio, then something has to change. And sometimes it means calling it quits. And calling it quits could be selling your studio. Calling it quits could be removing yourself and having somebody else run it for you. Like, so you're completely removed. When I say calling it quits, when it comes to your business, there's a lot of different ways to call it quits. So let's be clear. But something has to change. Thank you. Businesses are easier to fix than broken hearts and people. And I think it's just a different side of, oh, thank you. Yeah, I really do believe in standing in joy, and life's short, my friends. And so it's okay to say, this isn't bringing me joy anymore. We grow and we change as people. So just because you had a dream 20 years ago of building and growing a thriving studio and having 500 students or whatever it was, that doesn't mean that your dream has to stay the same. And if you're feeling like I've outgrown this dream and it's just become a burden, and I've tried all the things to spark the joy again, but it's just not rekindling, then sometimes you have to make that tough choice. Sometimes you have to make the tough choice. And it doesn't make you a failure. It doesn't make you a failure. If you actively make the decision and the choice that this is no longer working for me, it's not in alignment with who I want to be, with what I want for my life, that doesn't make you a failure at all. In fact, those are the people who are willing to stand tall for their big, audacious dreams and not be okay with just toeing the line, doing what you've always done just because you've done it. If you have the pull in your heart, you got it. Like, you can do more. Your dream can change. Okay. So, my friends, these sort of decisions aren't easy, right? And so I do have a couple things to share with you as I've been reflecting the last week and a half with Jacob's passing, and just life in general, and looking and talking to my family and my kids and all of the things. So one of the things that we are taking a pause on is at the end of October, I will be putting a pause on our Wednesday broadcast of the Erin Bird Live Show. Now, I am talking to my team about us doing Uh, they have been working behind the scenes on something else. So that might kind of be, it might be a replacement for a little while or in addition to when we come back. But that's number one. So at the end of October, I will be taking off November and December from doing the Aaron Bird live show. I want that time to be about my family. And so that is number one. The other thing, it's actually, there's three things. So that's number one, the Aaron Bird live show. While we, you guys, I'm on show episode number 145. I have come on live 145 Wednesdays in a row. So it's time for a pause. It's time for a pause. And so that's number one. The second piece to this is that because of timing and services and things of that nature, we will be rescheduling or postponing our Dance Studio Owners Business Retreat in Australia. I've that's not words. I've spoke to our attendees, and they all understood. And so that will be in February. So there is an opportunity if you did not get in for the Dance Studio Owners Business Retreat in Australia. That was supposed to happen in November, the first week of November. We will be moving that to February. So you do have an opportunity to still get in on that. And if you want more information about what that's going to look like, drop the word retreat below and I will share with you the new details and a few tweaks actually that we made to it because of the shift in timing and listening to my attendees and what they want to see when they go to Australia. So know that that's there. So that's the second change. And then the third small pause that we are having is I will not be taking any new private, so only new. If you're an existing coaching client, right, that does private coaching with me, know that we will continue, but I will not be taking on any new private one-on-one coaching clients until January. Like I said, I want to take a full pause, really, November and December. And so that's what I feel like I need and my family needs right now from me. So those are my three pauses. We're still here. We still are supporting inside of our Empire Builders Club. There are many episodes of the Aaron Bird Live Show where my team will be dropping them inside of our Facebook groups. So if you missed an episode, you can go back and watch it on repeat. We are working behind the scenes. Our team is working behind the scenes on launching a podcast. So that is also going to be coming in the pipeline in 2025. So my friends, know that there's a lot of things that we've been working on, but I recognize that I needed a pause. It's not a quits. That's not in alignment with my big goals and who I want to be and how I want to show up. But I want to show up as the authentic me and who I am. And for me, it's also sharing not just the sparkles and the rainbows and the butterflies. It's showing the real life side of things and sharing that I can recognize when I need a pause. And that's what I need. I need a pause. And so my hope for you guys today is to know that pauses are okay. They're okay. Calling it quits can be okay too. It's having a support team, a community of people who understand you, who get you, and help you navigate when life happens. And I'm so grateful for my support team, my community. You guys are amazing. My clients make my heart sing. They're the kindest, um, most understanding, genuine, and joyful people that I know. And so I appreciate you guys so, so much. So know that it's not a quits for me. I'm still here. I'm still around. We have our Empire Builders Club, which is our, our group coaching program where me and my team are coming in, supporting weekly our clients. And then, my current clients who I serve on a private coaching basis, that continues. That does not go away, my friends. That's not who I am, but I recognize that I cannot take on any additional new private coaching clients until the beginning of the new year. So that's what I need for me, and so then that way I can show up fully for our clients and for my family and for our nonprofit. We have a lot of different things going on. And so I want to make sure that whatever I'm doing is done in full integrity, done. We have a saying here is we don't do average, we do awesome. And so I don't ever want to show up in mediocrity. It's just not who I am. So because of that, I know that I cannot add more to my plate. And there were a few things, whether it was here on this side in the coaching and consulting side that I needed to remove. And there's some things on our nonprofit side that I needed to remove that I have, hired additional team for, and gave additional, responsibilities and roles to our current staff members. It's what was required of me, so that I can come back at the beginning of the year as someone who feels like their cup is full. So, my friends, 3 kind of things that I just threw at you all at the same time. Know that if you are looking for support, if you want a group of humans who support you, lift you up, stand for joy, help you grow your business, right? The Empire Builders Club is an amazing community. It's a small, tight-knit community that we have built, where I'm really committed to giving you, me and my team are committed to giving you strategies and tips and tricks that are specific for you and your needs. I'm not a huge cookie cutter, approach, because what may work, for one studio may not work for another studio, just because of different demographics, different niche, there's a lot of different variables. Each studio is unique. And so because of that, we think our solutions should be unique. Yes, there's certain foundations, principles, tactics that we know across the board can work, but there has to be slight tweaks, and we have to massage them based upon your unique situation. And so that's what we do inside of the Empire Builders Club, is we really look at what is it that you need, and how can this be applied to you and your specific goals. So like today, when I get off here, we have a group coaching call for our Empire Builder Club members, and they come in and it's hot seat coaching. They get to ask any question, and we will support them in that question. And knowing and understanding their specific business is huge to being able to give the best recommendations possible for their specific questions. So that's something we do inside the Empire Builders Club. So if you want more information about that, absolutely drop the word Empire below. I know there's a few people on this call, it looks like, that have either been in the Empire Builders Club, have had our support, and are currently inside the Empire Builders Club. So, my friends, that is still there. Again, not going away. But we are here to support you. And I care deeply about our members and our clients and our studio owners. And so I want you to know, and I'm here to share with you guys, that while there's certain things I'm taking a pause from until the new year, know that I will not pause from being here to support you. So just because I'm not taking private clients right now does not mean you cannot send me a Facebook message, talk to me, chat with me, ask your questions, help us help you, right? And so I don't want you guys to feel like that's gone away. So please understand me and know that. And then in the next 3 weeks, I'm really excited because over the next couple weeks, when we're finishing up these episodes of the Erin Bird Live Show, I have 3 different amazing guests that will be coming on, sharing this time with me to dive into some topics that I think are really, really important. And so know that over the next 3 weeks, so excited. We've got 3 separate guests that are going to be coming on, one each week, and to share this time with us. So please, please, please make sure you still join us on the next 3 Wednesdays for the season finale. Let's say it that way. The season finale of the Erin Bird Live Show before we take our hiatus and come back in the new year. So, my friends, please, thank you so much for supporting me. Let me know if you have questions, if you're struggling, if you feel like you're not sure, do I need a pause? Do I need a break? Do I need to call it quits? If you're struggling with that, please, please, please reach out. It's really nice to have someone who is outside of it and not inside what's going on in your immediate circle, and can help you kind of have a different perspective. So please reach out to us if you're feeling like you're struggling at all, whether it's overwhelm, you're feeling burnt out, exhausted, you feel like you're struggling. We are here to support you. My friends who are in Florida, please stay safe. Let us know how we can support you. And I will see you guys next week on the Erin Bird Live Show as we are wrapping up our season here for this show before we go on hiatus. So I'm going to leave you there. I hope that you all have a fantastic week. I will see you next Wednesday, where my guest Samara will be coming on. We are going to be diving into the power of nonprofits because, y'all, there is some power behind nonprofits. What they can do for you, how you can utilize them, leverage them, and how they could be an addition to your for-profit if you so desire. So I'm going to leave you there. I hope you have a fantastic week, my friends, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye, guys.